Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Cashmere Goat podcast number
35.
Right.
We had to check. I had to check. Kristin was right, but I just don't trust myself.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We do a lot, and it's hard to keep track of all the details.
And we are joining you from a new spot in the store today.
Yes.
So we're in Camden, Maine. If you've not joined us before, thanks for being here. And we typically choose a spot over there, and it was cloudy today, so I set us up in our normal cloudy spot.
And it has like
Place.
the Noro yarns behind us.
Very colorful, and we sat down and we were getting all of our stuff ready, and the sun started to shine through that overcast,
Right
and we were
in
like,
our eyes.
"Ah."
Right in our eyes.
So
we moved.
we had to roll us all over here.
And there's cocoa knits behind us, and
Doodle
decks.
and like some Emma balls. So we figured you might be curious about a different part of the shop that you haven't seen,
Yes.
because we realized we couldn't fight against the sun and wind.
We realize that every couple of weeks
Yep.
when we do this podcast.
Yep. So we're winning in this spot today.
Yeah. So what are you wearing?
Well, I'm wearing my Musselburgh hat, which is by Ysolda Teague. My hair is flat underneath it.
I wouldn't call that flat. My hair's flatter than yours, and it's not been under a hat.
Yeah, okay. So here's the inside of the hat, and it is reversible. So sometimes I have this look, and this is like, you know, fuzzy. I held a little silk mohair with that. So it makes this amazing jelly bean style shape. And I knit mine too big the first time. So I actually have another one that I started, and I brought it with us. It's a beanie style, and it's fine. I mean, the slouchiness kind of works with curly hair anyway, but I have noticed we've had some pretty chilly weather lately, and none of my hats are really snugging my ears down quite enough for my taste. So
When the wind blows and you're out walking and it's 15 degrees.
and so this one, I mean, it's really, if I fold up the brim, 4 layers, so it's pretty snug, but I'm thinking I want it really, but it's still like,
It's loose,
it's
though.
loose.
It's thick, but
It's
it's
thick
loose.
but loose. So anyway, new one. I'll show you that in a minute. I'm also wearing my NoCoShoCo. It is this very interesting, I'm just holding up my arm so you can see these sleeves, and I'll just stand up a little bit. It's kind of like this length.
It's her bed jacket.
It's a bed jacket. NoCoShoCo is from this book, Knitstrips, which is such a cool book in that they give recipes, you know, and so they're not telling you what yarn to use. They're suggesting a type of yarn that could be good for a project, but they also talk you through, well, how do you use a bulky versus a lighter weight? And so this is NoCoShoCo, stands for No Cold Shoulders, NoCoShoCo Cozy or something. And it's meant to be the kind of thing you put over your pajamas and read in bed. But I sometimes wear it out just because it's really fun. And I used up a bunch of stash yarn Malabrigo for this. So like, I've got Mecha, I've got worsted, I've got
Who knows what?
mix and match, and on the back I think it's all Mecha, so it's a little shinier versus the worsted.
Yep. And this book, I just wanted to show you how cool it is. It's like a graphic novel, but it is actually informative, and it's just fun. I mean, some of these pictures, do you ever feel like that?
Also, one of my favorite pages is right at the beginning, because it's sort of like, what kind of project do you want to make?
This is a fun book.
It's
to
really
get. It's a fun
okay.
book to gift.
So like, let's knit something starts over here, and then it walks you through sort of a flow chart diagram. Like, who's it for? Question mark. My descendants, me, a friend or loved one, I don't know, the world, and then it will go, you know, are you feeling epic? Not really. What kind of garment do you want? I want a snoo sweater. And it just sort of leads you through your moods.
Yep.
So
which maybe we should have that as a poster for our
Very cool.
customers, because
We get that a lot.
we do. People come and go, I want to knit something.
And so we have a binder called I Want to Knit Something.
We do.
And,
And yeah.
So,
Let me take
knit
that.
strips. That's what I'm wearing. What about you?
I am wearing my Sophie scarf, which I keep trying to wear, and it keeps warming up. It's cold in here this morning, so it's on for a little while.
Forget the yarn.
It is Cashmere, Dreams, and Nublet, which Nublet is no more. We might have a little bit of it left.
A little bit of it left in sale.
But it's held together. I could actually make another one probably with the amount of yarn I have. The
Very
Cashmere
soft.
Dreams is like, it looks like a skein of mohair, but it's softer.
Plush.
It's very plush.
And it just adds the most gentle little halo. Like mohair can be a little bit more out there.
It is a gentle halo, and there's a little sheen from the Nublet because that has silk in it. And
well, and the Cashmere Dreams does too.
I think it does too. You're right.
It's such a good color.
So, and then I have my Swan Dance.
It's not the Swan Dive?
Well, I said that to you before, so I wouldn't say it on the video.
Okay.
I jokingly always go the Swan.
We're word people.
Dive.
We like to make each other laugh with our wordplay.
And we do a lot.
Yeah.
Word nerds,
so
as
the
I like to say.
Swan Dance has the beautiful motif along the arm, along the center, along the back.
Yep.
Little bit of lace.
Down the middle.
Yep.
It's the version of the our knit along from last year, the Carbath. Wow, my brain.
By Kate Davies.
Kate Davies. I can remember what I'm wearing.
And this is the beautiful Sweeto, which I think we mentioned going out.
I don't know if we did mention it.
Ooh.
Sweeto is at the end of its run. I actually can't buy anymore. I looked and it's gone. We still do have a good chunk of it. It's one of my favorite yarns in the store. I have said before I had knit with it. It was my yarn crush that I had looked at ever since I had a skein of it from a rep. And then I finally bought it for the store, and I never knit anything with it. And then I knit with it, and I just love it.
Well, and what I hear of maybe you and other people that have knit with it is that, you know, so this is a bulky weight yarn, but it's light. It's a single ply, lighter feeling. So it doesn't feel like heavy duty. It just, it's bulky but light.
Yes.
Nice.
I am really feeling that lately, really needing not a heavy weighed down sweater because the weather here just hasn't been that cold. I did, when it was really cold a couple days ago, I did have a very heavy sweater on, and that was nice. But oftentimes it's like this where it's like actually rained all night.
It rained all night, and like right now, what is my watch gonna say for temperature? Like 54,
It's
but
crazy.
it's a damp 54.
54 here at this time of year is nutty. So I'm all over the place with sweaters because I love to wear my sweaters, but a lot of them are too hot for this weather. I like a light one. It's a pleasure to knit with, and I just particularly love this color. I don't know if we even have any left. I think we do, actually.
I think I do spy some, maybe.
It's just great. It's a tweed. It's a tweed with flecks of color. It looks gray, but there's all sorts of stuff in it. So that's what I'm wearing.
Beautiful.
Oh, I did want to mention, we made a little mistake. If you watched our announcement to all of you about our next knit along, the Dog Star,
because we're human.
We made a little mistake, and the sweater that we shared of the Dog Star,
Miranda's one that she knit for Walter,
it was not knit in
Vintage DK.
Vintage DK, and it all makes sense now. I was looking at it going, how does this look so much like wool? Because it was wool. It was Patagonia. And so sorry about that, but we're human, and this is what happens when you're human.
I'm sure she told me the right thing, Patagonia,
and my brain just was like, oh, that's what it is, even though I was looking at it and I knew. I did.
Miranda told us that she could see you looking at it on the podcast, and she's like, Kristin knows. I can tell Kristin knows.
Somewhere in the back of my mind.
I knew.
As soon
Your
as she said
fingers
it,
knew.
and the way it
Yeah.
looked, because it had this halo that vintage doesn't get in the same way, because vintage is not 100% wool. It's still lovely, but it's not quite the same. So, anyways.
Slight correction.
Correction.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. It happens.
It happens.
We're human. Yep.
Okay, well, I have a couple things to show. I guess I'll show the dog star first because
it's beautiful.
It's so fun. And yesterday at knitting group, like the knitters were just getting super excited about it, and some folks who hadn't thought they were going to participate decided to.
Oh, really?
Started picking out yarn. Yep. And so I've actually finished my color work motif at the yoke, and I'm getting ready to do a rapid decrease towards the neck. And I don't think I showed this in the announcement video, but are you ready for this? My sweater is only this long right now.
Oh, you love a crop top.
It's really cropped. Like you thought this one was cropped. This one is going to be just a little belly shirt for the summer. Not really. I did a provisional cast on because I wanted to hustle along and get through the color work, you know, in advance of the knit along, so people could at least see the color work and how that looked. And so my what I'll be doing after I finish my neckline is I'll be picking up all my little held stitches. This is a new provisional cast on technique for me, one that is great. Kristin you like the crochet hook one.
I do.
I never ever could remember the crochet hook one.
I can't remember it, but I like it.
It just never felt easy to me. So I'm doing the long tail provisional cast on. I did that, and I just finished making a video about that. So I will link to that down below, and it's also going to go in our Dog Star Knit Along playlist for people to refer to. But if you've been flummoxed by that other ways of provisional cast on, this one really is just like a long tail cast on. If you know how to do the long tail cast on, you can do this too.
So, and the reason for doing a provisional cast on is because she can make the top of the sweater and then knit down and make it exactly the size she wants.
And we did have that feedback with the Carbeth last year because it is also a bottom-up sweater, and sometimes we had a couple people who were unhappy with the length.
We did. Sure.
And they manage that in different ways. But so with this one, we think that, you know, those people who might be a little bit bottom up, provisional could be a nice idea. It's also sometimes you see it in a pattern at the neckline because you're going to come back and do something a little different at the end. So,
and for those of you that don't like to pick up stitches, provisional cast on is your best friend. You just don't know it.
Yeah. I mean, you still have to pick up the little loops, but they're all like
right there
in front of you. So
you don't have to find them.
They're there.
They're just, especially when you use a contrast color like that.
Yeah. Okay, so also the Musselburgh, because
I haven't seen this.
So this is the funny little start to the Musselburgh hat. So you're doing a little cast on it at the center. If you're a crocheter, you know, like the magic loop way to start. And then you're increasing out in these 4 directions. And if you can believe it, I think for my size, I am like not that far from just being able to knit straight.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
It's weird because this looks like it's gonna be
a little yarmulke,
a little tiny yarmulke for me, but it's not. So this yarn is this beautiful gray neutral little pink in there, and it's a Miss Babs.
It is?
I got it at
I thought it might be on the round, and I'm like, what color?
No, I got it at Rhinebeck. It's the base that's DK, and it's a Polworth plus silk, so it's really, really soft, feels woolly.
Ooh, that's nice.
It's nice. So
neutral.
I know.
Is it gonna have exciting colors added to it?
No.
It's just gonna be one.
I mean, I have one pretty exciting hat.
You do.
People say like we can see, we know it's
you.
you if you're walking outside the shop. So that's a fun one because now that I've gotten through the fussy little fiddly beginning and the increases, I'm just gonna be like knitting like 18 inches before I do anything else. Yeah. So good one for holiday time when you sometimes just need to pick up and put down projects.
Right. And I forgot my knitting, so yeah.
Oh, Rachel's there. Rachel, we just got a little glimpse of you.
Wait,
Wait.
Say hi. Rachel just got here. We're going to open soon. We don't usually park over here.
I know, we had to escape the bright contrast over
Whether
there.
she wanted a cameo or not, she got one. I feel like that was sort of like an unintentional
Like, we didn't
setup.
quite realize that we would get you, but I guess we would have if we thought about it.
Oh, so
Alright.
funny. So, yeah, I'm still working on my little, I'm just working on a hat. I've been knitting much lately.
The hat that we showed.
Yeah.
The really soft Rosina.
Yes. And I'm loving the yarn. And I did start knitting on it again, and I put 2 colors together and went a few rounds and was like, oh, this looks like a candy corn. And so I pulled it out.
It wasn't the look she was going for.
It wasn't. And then I just kind of.
But will you
lost
stick
my
with the
steam.
green?
I haven't knit. It's kind of weird. I'm gonna try to knit today, and I don't know. I'm all about the Sudoku right now.
Okay.
So I'm actually almost completed a big fat Sudoku book.
Wow.
I know. So I don't know, and I try never to make knitting something I have to do. I used to do that, and it kind of steals the joy. So sometimes you have to take knitting breaks.
I also kind of like it though when I'm like, this is kind of like work knitting, like working on my dog star. I'm like, this is good kind of work to do at home.
Oh yeah, I mean my pressure. It's a long, silly story, but I definitely have pressured myself to knit a lot. So here we are. It's the end of, well, no, it's the middle of December. So it is kind of crunch time for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we do have a lovely blog post by Miranda about holiday knitting and
It's so great.
crunch time, and
It makes me laugh and also feel like a little emotional somehow.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it's awesome.
So there's a little blog post.
I'll link it below.
And on that note, like, I used to try to knit something for everybody on the holiday, and I kind of stopped. I do it if I want. And I'm kind of a selfish knitter now. I usually knit for myself.
Okay.
Not always. But one of the things I still like to find things to give to people. And I have to say, if you are in the want of giving someone a special gift, we do have these already knit,
really nice.
out of earth yarns. And there's long ones and there's crew ones. And I have a pair because it was cold one day this fall and I didn't expect it. And I had to get a pair of socks for myself, and they're so soft.
And it's like the if you've seen our unique sock kits that we have, it's the same yarn.
So you could actually take the label off and give it to someone
and be like, I made you these socks.
I mean,
don't watch this podcast, by the way.
I wouldn't.
I love this
I
color.
would
This one.
This one is so
Oh
good.
wow! Is this the one you got?
It might be,
Because as soon as I saw this part,
and I have a crew, so it looks a little different, but there's a lot of similarities. Anyways, they're machine washable. They're so nice, and I hope this one's actually a crew. Yeah, this one's a crew. So this is look how fun that is. And I have
Really
Mary Jane, so I love to wear an exciting sock. I can be all staid and then have my red Mary Janes with a pair of exciting socks just to liven things up.
Yeah.
So these are a great gift. Like, I'm like, oh, we're getting kind of low on those. I think I need to get some more for myself. That's kind of what I thought. So selfishly.
So great though.
So that's my little gift tip.
So I decided to bring over, as you may know, we had a big Delq restock, and now we're about to get another one.
Because most of it's gone.
We love Delq bags.
We do.
You know, if you watch this podcast. And this one is a newer bag. It is the mesh tote, but it's a little bit of a different shape than the original mesh tote, which is more of like a horizontal shape.
So this one's taller and narrow.
And both of them come with the goodie bag inside, which is like a little mesh pocket. You get
snaps bag,
the
which is amazing.
and you get over the shoulder handle, And it comes with the scissor pocket too.
Which we thought the scissor pockets were going to be gone, but they're not.
They're not. We thought they were.
They just redesigned them.
Yep. Anyway, and like this one I noticed has an exterior pocket on the sides.
Both sides.
This one does not, the one that I'm holding, but both of them have the zipper front. So this is this mesh.
And I have this size, and I didn't really like, a lot of people loved it at first sight. I did not. But as soon as I started using it, I loved it because I could see what was in it, and I could put my pattern here, and you can see through it.
Also really good for like once you've got a big sweater on the needles.
Yeah, it's a nice big bag.
You've got, and it's also not heavy, and that is something that
some of the bags are heavy.
Can be a little heavy, so this is a nice to go. And
so of course I've been thinking about this one for myself because you can never have enough bags.
That's our motto. And there was I think a customer in the store, or maybe it was a father-daughter, and I think whoever was the non-knitter of the pair was saying like, don't you want another bag? Like, don't you need another bag for your projects? And the person was, to my surprise, the person was like, well, I don't know. And I was like, shh, no, you definitely need another project bag. Right? This person wants to buy it for you.
Say yes to the project bag.
So anyway, but to each their own.
Right.
So that's who we've been doing we've had a lot of folks in for holiday gifts. We've had a lot of fun with people picking out yarn for the Dog Star who are like taking a break from thinking about holidays and now thinking about something fun for our knit along that starts in the new year in January.
Yes. Yeah.
And what's really neat is, you know, we sometimes will get calls from people who aren't in the shop and they need some help, especially with color work. I had somebody who emailed and said, you know, I'm looking at these two colors of Vintage DK. I'd like to use this as the body. I'm thinking of these two accent colors, but I just want to see what is, you know, I'd like to see them together next to each other, and I'd like to maybe have your input on maybe some other options. So I texted that customer a bunch of pictures.
Yep, we can do that.
Which helped.
We can text you photos of yarn combos.
It's hard, and we understand the challenge of trying to pick out on a screen when you're like, okay, I think maybe this color in this tiny little box is going to go with this color in this tiny little box. I mean, it's a little tricky.
It is. But
we love helping people pick out combinations.
We do. We love colors. We love colors.
Surprise!
You're really colorful today.
I'm really colorful today. Well, it was so
red
gray.
Clogs on even.
Yep, I do. It was such a gray morning. I thought I might as well liven things up a little.
Might as well.
Plus, I didn't think I'd worn this on the podcast in a really long time.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
So just a little more about the knit along. We sign-ups are open. We don't actually close the sign-ups. The knit along will start in January and run through February. So if you're not really sure about it, you don't have to feel pressure to sign up right now. When you do sign up, you get a welcome email that will give you lots of details about discount on yarn for the project. You know, there's tips and tricks that come out about sizing. I created a bundle in Ravelry that shows a lot of different Dog Star options if you're thinking about color work. There's resources for new folks to color work.
There's a lot of juicy details. It helps you like get excited about the sweater. And as we go along with the knit along and everybody starts knitting it, those newsletters continue once a week. And if you're signed up, they're just for people signed up. They don't go to everybody. Doesn't cost anything to sign up though. It's free.
It's free.
But if people all continuously run into the same question, we realize that that's something we need to address. And that can be really nice for us and other people because they come to it and they've already read about it in the newsletter and they're like, oh, okay, here's that spot they were talking about. This is how I want to approach it.
And because I run the Zooms, virtual knit along meetups, and then I'm here on Sundays when we do our in-store meetups, I kind of get a pulse of if there's a trouble spot or if there's a technique that somebody found that was made something easy. I think there was an issue in maybe it was the Anker summer shirt where there was a very important line of text, but it was a little bit buried at the end of a paragraph. And I had a couple knitters who blew by that one piece of text. So I said, okay, everybody get out your highlighters. And I wrote it in the newsletter.
Right.
So on page 4, bottom of the 3rd paragraph, circle, arrows, highlight, make sure you underline that last sentence. And so we had, you know, that's the benefit of doing it in a group.
It is. And it's just a simple thing. And it's just like a matter of like how it formatted when it printed out. And so it's just, that's just how it is.
Yep.
So we're excited for it.
Wow.
Yeah. And we are.
Wait, did you decide on your colors yet?
I have an idea in my mind.
Okay.
I'll share it with you. You're going to be so surprised. So
we'll reveal that in a later podcast.
Apparently. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and putting up with our silliness.
Always.
Please give us a like, give us a comment. I've been loving your comments lately. Thank you so much. And if you don't subscribe, why not?
Because you'd miss all the silly content and the fun stuff we talk about. But
all right. Well, thank you so much for watching.
And we'll probably not podcast until the new year. So should we say
yes.
Happy New Year to
Happy
you?
New Year.
We'll see you next year.
See you next year. Bye now.
Bye.
Let's get the sillies out. All right.